little background on RVES program, the LEED program. Back in 2008, it was decided that RVES was going to look towards using more sustainable construction practices in their new construction branches like this one, which is a prototype. And so that means that we do the same type of building, variations of it, wherever we have new branch locations. And we looked at it from a sustainable construction practice viewpoint, and also to be able to have utility savings, at least in the future. And this was the first bank that we decided to do here in Fayetteville. We decided that we would do 4 branches and then kind of look at what we got and what we decided to do best and what we decided not to do from that point on. So it could be that we continue doing LEED branches on all of our facilities from here on out. That hasn't been decided yet. We do have our 4 branches. We don't have them all certified just yet. We have a branch here in Fayetteville, this one. We have 2 in Springfield, and then we have 1 in Broken Arrow. And we will have another one soon in Fayetteville. We're going to begin construction on a branch at Township and College, which is right across from the new Walgreens, if you know where that's at. And that'll be happening pretty soon. So, like I said, this was our first branch. This is what we call our green wall, which we've been putting in all our green certified facilities. And it's worth a point on the LEED certification program. I don't know if y'all how familiar you are with that. This is for design, one of the design points, and it's an educational point, and it goes along with the trail, which we'll follow outside of the branch that goes around the branch grounds, and it kind of gives you some signs telling about the different things that we've done to be LEED sustainable. These on the sides are just different ways that general ways that you can observe LEED practices, and then of course the ones that go along with the sign here, the rendering, talk about things that we did specific to this branch. Now, as far as interior stuff, since we're inside right now, most of them, of course, you can't really see. There are things like controllability with the lighting and with the heat mirror. Much of the HVAC system and how it works was dealt with the LEED practices, such as using certain filters on air ducts. We've used LED lighting in some of the offices. You can see we don't have all LED in the bank, but in the offices that was a new thing that we've tried. Like I said, the controllability, which is a computer generated, which could be remote, and the heat mirror, and then the lighting. The lights go off at a certain time, they come back on, and also deals with the irrigation. Also in the restrooms, we've used the dual flush system on the toilets, where you number one you push up, number 2 you push down to save water. And also a big deal was the gray water. We used gray water for our toilets, which was kind of the first one done in Arkansas without an actual filtering system located on the property. So that was kind of the big deal for us. And what we've done is we've taken the water from the rainwater that was collected on the roof, it's drained into a cistern underground, and then look at that when we go outside. Other things we've done are for the glues and paints and carpeting in the millwork, used a low or no VOC compound for that. And that covers everything for the interiors. We'll go ahead and go outside.
Bike racks.
One thing that's a little more unusual about this branch is the landscaping. We didn't use the standard landscape. We tried to use plants that were more native to the area, that were drought tolerant and low maintenance. And that's not the case in every plant that's used, but for the most part we tried to do that. And another thing that we did with the landscape is we made them, we tried not to use as many sod areas because of the high maintenance that sod requires, the amount of water the site requires. So it's mostly mulch and ground covers. Perimeter is grass, but that's a city requirement. We didn't try to mess with that. We just went along with that. When we first opened, everybody thought it looks like a desert. That was one of the comments that we got. I think it's looking better and better. There's some things that I would have done differently, and I think some of it might be a little bit overgrown, but it's overall, I think it looks nice. It's different. You can tell there's a difference in it. Another thing that we've done is the pervious pavement. You can tell the difference in the pavement here and in the center. On the parking space areas, we used a pervious pavement, which the water will actually drain through, and there's a pipe underneath that carries that water, the rainwater, to the bioswales on either side. We'll take a closer look at the bioswales here. Another lead requirement is the fuel-efficient vehicle signs for vehicles that are fuel efficient, and that covers a lot of vehicles, but it also caused some problems. That's one of the things that did turn out to be kind of a problem here, because so many people were upset that those parking spaces were just for fuel-efficient vehicles. They thought they had to have a hybrid or something to be able to park there, which wasn't the case, but we ended up having to move them around a little bit because we had so many complaints about that. They also felt like we were putting the fuel efficiency above the accessible parking, which isn't the case because of grading and how things are laid out. This is where the accessible parking had to be. So I think that all worked out fine. Let's see, LED lighting. We've used LED lighting around the vans and the side lighting. This is a little bit different than what you're used to seeing probably. We've also now started to put gooseneck lights are now LED, not here, but on our LED. Walk around this way.
Here's the bioswale. Draining off of there, coming down to the end here. That might be.
The water drains into this bioswale, and if it gets too full, there's a concrete structure on the other side of this bridge that the water drains into. That's the city required that. The water from here can drain into the ground, so it will drain back into the water table. We had a lot of problems getting it just right as far as the soil mix, for one thing. The soil mix was very light, so that it drained really well. When it drained too well, we could get the plants to grow. The wildflower mix wouldn't grow because it was more of a wetlands wildflower mix, and drained so well that wouldn't work. So we've had to come in and replanted it with some stuff, and it's got gravel on it now, which it didn't have before. But it was just such a grassy, it was just grown up in grass before, so that's how it's kind of evolved since it started. Also, you can notice there's no curb, so the water can kind of drain off. It's a little bit different than normal. That was another thing that's hard to do, is not have curbing as far as civil engineering aspects of it. That's a little different. And people were worried about cars running off into the ditch, and these trees are acting kind of as bollards to kind of mark where the edge is. Hopefully they'll drive off. Behind you, you can see where the manholes are. That is the cistern.
Right there,
There's
cistern.
two cisterns, one on this
There's
side
the
and one
roof
on the other
drainage.
side of the parking lot.
Roof drainage.
This one is for the irrigation. So part of the water off of the roof is collected.
Part for
and
irrigation, part for the toilets.
The rainbird box over there, that's for pumping the irrigation. So it's pumped into a irrigation system that's of not your normal spray irrigation. And just uses less water. Let's see what else.
We're heading over to the bioswale on the other side. That again is the rainwater collection. The cistern is there, right there for the irrigation. There's one on the other side too. Maybe that one is the one that feeds the toilets. That's where my kid's dentist office is. Back to the bioswale.
Those are planted by birds. Right. The reason this was so different, we found out about a year after we opened the branch that there was a water leak feeding this bioswale. So it had a constant supply of water and it did really well. And so that's the reason this one looks so different. Cistern, the other cistern.
Oh yeah, that's the cistern for the gray water for the toilets. Drains off the roof there. This is a well vegetated one. All right, thank you, Arvest. Thank you,
To impervious pavement, you're supposed to
Brent
once a
Vincent.
year come in and
Thank you.
vacuum